afternoon, good evening, good morning, good whatever time you happen to be tuning into It's Naturally Nat. Glad to see you back today. Today I'm gonna make something, and I wasn't even gonna film it actually. I was at my office, my desk office, and I was thinking about what I was making tonight, which is I'm not filming either. Which is I was gonna have a steak with a blue cheese encrusted crust on it, and some coconut shrimp. And I thought, boy, that's so rich and deep, and the flavors on the steak with the fattiness. All of a sudden, I was like, I have to have the right salad. And it kept bothering me all day because I have a million salad recipes, and I promised you this fall that I would share them with you, and I have been. But none of them just seemed to match up with the shrimp and the steak. And then finally it hit me. I was like, I'm going to do one of my favorite light salads that I forgot about for a long time. And I wish I had a fancy name for it. Everybody basically knows it, who knows it, and if you know, you know, as ramen salad. Yeah, ramen salad. The ramen that you might have grown up with as a child when there wasn't any SpaghettiOs around, or that you ate in college until you got sick of, like me. I got sick of it, couldn't even think about it. Until, ironically, about 10 years ago, and a lovely older lady turned me on to this recipe. And I even looked all around for it in my cookbooks, and I don't even know where it came from, this ramen salad recipe, because it's not really Asian ingredients like when you think of ramen noodles. It's ramen noodles you think of in some sort of liquid. It's just weird, but the end result is crispy and crunchy. It's very versatile. It's super easy to make. It keeps forever in the fridge. Everybody likes it, kids included. And it's forgiving. You can change it up. Okay? But I really think the selling point of this salad is that it goes really well with unctuous fatty foods like steaks and pork chops. In fact, I'm doing pork chops tomorrow night, and I'm going to have this with that, and it's going to be even better. So let's go ahead and get started on this crazy, crunchy vegetable salad. And if you can think of a clever name that has crazy and crunchy in it, let me know, because I hate the name ramen salad. Okay? It just is too generic. So anyway, what you're going to need is, and a couple weeks ago, I talked about the love that cabbages needed. And I made, I made a cabbage and a kielbasa with pierogies on a dish, one skillet dish. Remember that? Oh, it's so good. I'm going to have that next week. Same cabbage that I had then. All I did, clean off the brown spots, because we're going to need 2 cups of it, okay? I chose a guy, you're going to need about a medium to a large size bowl. I think in the show notes down below, in the comments, I'll put in the recipe for the traditional full amount. Since this is just going to be for me, and Dan the cameraman is out of town doing taxes and BM isn't around, I'm not going to make that whole recipe. Now I could, because like I said, it keeps well. But instead, I'm going to make just half. Okay, so I'll need 2 cups of cabbage. Okay, cut up. So, by the way, if you don't have one of these bench scrapers, they're awesome. They make things speedy. I've got 1 cup already cut, and we'll go ahead and cut another. Now, the original recipe that I found, and I wish I had that lovely lady, I think her name was Carol, I wish I had her original recipe, because it had more bibs and bobs in it than the standard ones that you can find online. And when I was trying to find one online to that covered all the bases that I remember in the salad that I had, somebody in the comments had said this was their memory of the 90s. Okay, so maybe it came out in the 90s. I don't know. In the 90s, I was very busy in graduate school, so I wasn't paying attention to anything except for work. So it's been around for a while. Okay, so we got 1 cup in the bowl already. We're also going to, like I said, we're going to need 2 cups. The recipe that I found has you do a mixture of red and what I call green cabbage. I don't have any red, and I'm not going to the store to get some, and neither should you if you don't have any. So instead, I'm going to use my green cabbage, and then I'm going to toss in some orange peppers, and to kind of make up for that, because you just want crunchy. And you could even do broccoli. I thought about mincing up broccoli stems, because I have some in the fridge, and those would be great in here, and I might add that to this tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to go with the simple, closest to the recipe that I'm going to give you. So I need another, I need to have 2 full cups. I don't know, I was gabbing, and And I forgot how many that I have, but I'm going to put more in here. Because can you have too much yummy, crispy stuff? I don't think so. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. In my medium bowl. Let's see. Do I have about 2? Yeah, 2 plus. Okay. Then the other vegetables, like I said, didn't have any red cabbage, and I also didn't have any doggone, and it's not called doggone, but any doggone green onions. Green onions, the tops and the bottoms. So I'm opting for a 1/4 cup white onions. Okay. The green onions that you were supposed to have, I think it was maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. The carrots, you were supposed to have shredded carrots. And then this is how big my bag of regular carrots was. Do you think I'm going to sit and go through like 70 of these things on my box grater? No. I know. Why don't you use the word processor? It's in storage. I don't know where it is. Besides, Rosie likes carrots. So I just minced these up. And you could do that too, you know, if you didn't want to get out your box grater and chew off part of your knuckle, which happens to me every time. Or track down your food processor. Rosie, you want a carrot? She'll be skulking out here. She knows what that sound is. Anyway, add that to the mix. And then, again, because I didn't have any purple cabbage, I cut up some of my, just like I went off on last time. Or not last time, it was a couple weeks ago. The pierogies and the skillet dinner with the kielbasa and the peppers, cabbage. You got to have these in your folks. Folks, you got to have these in your refrigerator because they are so versatile, just like cabbage. So, I wish I would have had the red peppers, but I used those earlier in a different week. So I'm not going to have tons of varied color. Alright, that's cool. That's good enough. I mean, would it be nicer if I had some dark green scallions in here and some bright orange cabbage? Of course, it would be prettier, but it's the taste that counts, and I'm the only one eating it. Okay? Then, I'm feeling my pan here because I know you can't see it. I got a bag of ramen. I took the package out, right? And then I used my mallet, right? While it was still in the package. Be careful because the package can rip and then the ramen can go flying out. And I just beat on it on my cutting board, okay? And I put it on this cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. I decided this is such an easy recipe to completely make your own. The last time I made this, I found and then lost again a recipe that had called for suggested I think sunflower seeds, and I have some great ones anyway in my fridge. And then it called for, I don't remember what it was. I think it was a 1/2 cup of almonds. I have a 1/4 cup plus extra because I think the almonds, and BM was agreeing with this when he had some. The almonds and the sunflower seeds make this thing sing. You could double the recipe with this if you're a crunchy person. Anyway, I put this in the oven, 400 degrees, to toast. Now don't go out of the room and go into the basement and do the laundry when you do this part, because they go from perfect, this is perfect, with a little bit of color, to burned in a blink of the eye. This took me, again, high elevation, about 12-13 minutes to achieve. But if I went outside with the girls, the doggies, to let them out and goofed around for 5 minutes, they'd have been... So put them in, set your timer, okay? And you're good to go. We're going to add these in a minute. Let's talk about the sauce that goes in this. I've got right here a 1/4 cup of oil, because the original recipe is a 1/2 cup. I have got, now, here's when this is making a bulk of the flavor of the dressing. Oh, Rosie's not eating it. The other small fluffy dog who doesn't like carrots is, what are you doing, you crazy old baby? Okay, it decided after a lifetime of not liking carrots that she likes carrots. Anyway, doesn't matter what kind of seasoning that comes with the ramen. You could use beef, you could use shrimp, you could use chicken, all the other weird flavors that come in. Add that all together. You can mix it in this if you want. The original recipe called for 2 tablespoons. I'm using 1 tablespoon of white sugar. You could use honey. In fact, that'd probably be healthier. And then the oil, which is the same amount as the rice vinegar. A 1/4 cup because the original calls for a 1/2. Now you should use the best, healthiest oil possible. I used a combination of avocado oil, to be healthy, and then I use some cheap oil to be cheap and save money. I mean, not to be cheap, but you know what I mean. So oil, rice vinegar, sugar, and that crazy seasoning packet. Now you could put a little, and I might do this if I haven't said this already. I think I might even put a little sesame oil in this. Oh, sesame seeds would be good in this. I'm going to add sesame seeds too to the end. So, it smells good. Okay, we'll go ahead and pour it over the cabbage. There's no right or way wrong, just flick it in there. Pour this toasty deliciousness. It's still a little warm. All of it in there. Now, a lot of recipes won't tell you to toast the ramen. In fact, a whole bunch I saw didn't even mention it. I think you should, okay? Because it'll lend to, I know it's an extra step, it'll lend to this keeping longer in the refrigerator. And if you're using nuts, a lot of the recipes don't call for the nuts. Hello. The toast factor will stay longer than nuts if you toast them, okay? Oh, one other thing that I was going to remember to add into this. Don't let me forget. I thought, that this is how versatile this recipe is. I thought this recipe would also be good. Have a handful of craisins thrown in here, you know? Because you already got the sweet of the sugar, and you got the salty vinegary, right? And so I'm going to add that in just a second. But let's see how this smells. Let me look and see if I have my dried cherries up here, because I was going to grab them, and I forgot. And I'm pretty sure, oh good, they are up here. Now last time I made this, I didn't add the dried cherries. This was just in a eureka moment sitting in my office, right, at lunchtime, and I thought, boy, that'd be good in here. These, if I remember correctly, they're kind of big. No, you guys can't have any of this. Sorry. So I might give a rough chop on these, and I'm going to throw them in here, okay? By the time I do that, and I'm throwing a handful in, like this much. You could also use, if you've got golden cherries, those would be great in here too. Or regular cherries, or cranberries? No. Craisins. Okay, that took me a minute. I mean, I could put these bigger cherries in whole, but they're kind of big, and whenever I use these bigger dried cherries, I give them a rough chop, because there's a cream cheese cheese ball dip that I make with blue cheese and walnuts. Oh, so good in the fall or on a cold day. And I put these cherries in, and they're just too big. They don't fit with the smaller pieces of walnuts. And consistency is what you want in any kind of cooking and salads. I think when it comes to size, get out of here. You don't need to be trying to. Just wait, and I'll give you some. They haven't eaten dinner yet, so they're being cranky. All right. I think this was a good idea. Oh, the sesame seeds. Yeah, I'm going to add those too. And like I said, I think I'm going to add sesame seed oil to this. We're going to let... The good thing about this is you kind of want to let it sit for a few hours if you can. But you can eat this right now. In fact, let's just take a little bite. I take that back. You don't even need to let this sit in the refrigerator an hour or two to meld. It comes together that fast. Have you ever heard anything so crazy? Let me throw some the seeds on. And hopefully I'll remember to put those add-ins in the show notes. If not, drop me a line below and say, hey silly, you forgot to put in those other add-ins, those creative add-ins. Whoops. Oh. Sometimes things like that happen. Am I going to edit that out? No. All right. Oh, that may or may not do anything. Now, if I add sesame oil to this tomorrow, like I think I am, just a little bit, just a few drops, I think it'll tie in those little seeds together. If not, this is all nutrition. But man, I mean, I think I might add some more cherries. We'll see. But man, is this good. I did not expect one little gluttonous bite like I just took right now to already taste so good, but it does. So, you know, I was reading somebody else's posts about this salad online, and they said this is such a great go-to in the summer too, because, and I never even thought about this. This doesn't really, this, unlike a lot of other salads in the summer, this doesn't have anything that can go bad, like if it had mayonnaise or sour cream or, you know, chopped up eggs in it. Now, I'm not saying go stick this in front of the sun and let it sit for 5 hours and then eat it, but it's a good point. This also would be good at for taking with you to school to eat or to your office lunches, because if you're talking about letting it sit on your desk for 3 hours and then eat it, I think it's fine. I mean, I really do. But anyway, I cannot wait to eat this with a steak and with a pork chop tomorrow night. So please, if you make it, let me know. Let me know how it goes. If you've made something similar to this, let me know. Is this something your mom made in the 90s? Is this something that you made in the 2000s? Is that when you came across it? Or were you late to the party like me and didn't know about it till like 2009? Okay? Let me know. If you haven't before, please like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell thing and you'll get notifications, so if you miss an episode you can catch up. But take care, and as always, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next Sunday next time. Bye-bye.